You want to go on Netflix?
We're going to the movies. What movie? What theater? What time?
Just in time.
Yeah, I heard this movie is great.
Streaming, mate. Yeah? Hi, I'm Terry, and this is Terry Says. Oh yeah, and Terry Says like and subscribe, alright? Down there, you can see it, alright? Streaming. What to stream? Stream a lot. We live in the age of streaming. It's just this thing that we do, everyone does now. It's how we consume things now. Yep, we don't have little discs anymore. We don't even go to the cinema, really, anymore. Everything's streaming, isn't it? Question is, how much do you stream? How many streaming things do we need? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's enough? When is it enough? Do you know what I mean? So, obviously there's a lot of box office trouble. It apparently is at 50% of pre-pandemic levels. So, and then you've got the likes of Warner Brothers releasing their films to stream at the same time as they do at the cinema. So the consumer has the choice to not have to go see a film first. Usually, before you go to cinema, that's how you first get to see a film. It's the best way to see a film. And now you've got the choice, you can just stream it. So everyone just stays at home and streams. That's what's happening. Now, last year, in that little grey area moment of last summer, in the pandemic, we had Christopher Nolan's film Tenant come out, which, still made a profit, but only through the skin of its teeth, and because it was, Christopher Nolan, anybody else. I mean, it was a unique release. As a result of the things like the Warner, now Christopher Nolan was quite angry about the Warner Brothers stream thing. He said that they were like the worst. They've made themselves the worst company to work for creatively as a result of this decision. Also, just announced is that to mix this all up again, Christopher Nolan and his pulling power, he's the modern Spielberg. He's managed to secure a deal with Universal Pictures with his new film about Oppenheimer. For next year, he's managed to secure a $100 million budget, but that's fine. But what's the real key thing is he's managed to secure a 100-day window for just theatrical releases, like with no streaming, and also a deal where they're not allowed to release a film before or after in a certain period for that film. So he's left Warner Brothers after the whole debacle, and with Universal he's now got this deal where he can release films cinematically in the comfort and the knowledge that it will not be streamed or tampered with. So he's uniquely carved out a new position in Hollywood, and it only takes someone with his might to be able to do that. Everyone else is still going to have to play ball. But yeah, quite interesting development. And then of course with Disney now, we've got the whole business with the film that came out, Black Widow. A lot of the big stars' earnings is now based on box office returns, but that doesn't take into account streaming returns. So Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney over Black Widow's box office returns because they were a lot smaller than they would have been if it hadn't been streamed. So all this sort of stuff's happening. We're right in the midst of it right now, deciding the future of film. How are we going to see films? Then of course there was the whole business with Bond. The latest Bond film was delayed, and then MGM was bought up by Amazon, so we thought we were going to get the new Bond film on Amazon Prime. But it is getting a cinematic release. I mean, you have to see Bond in the cinema. I get that you can watch comedies and odd little bits of films. There's definitely films you can enjoy at home streaming. Absolutely, you do not have to go to cinema to see them. However, there are some films that have to be seen in cinema to be fully appreciated. On an epic scale, they are designed and made for the cinema. Cinema is the optimum place to see a film. It's like if you went to a concert, you go to a great venue to see the band because it's the optimum place for acoustics, putting on a show, all the rest of it. It's not the same just watching it on a TV. It's the same for cinema. It's the optimum sound, vision, everything. You become completely immersed. You're not supposed to be on your phones in cinema. You're not supposed to be distracted by nothing. You're in a dark room that's concentrating on the film. That's the best place to see it, right? Of course, you had your man Spielberg doing a hashtag We Love Cinema. You know, obviously the old big boys are all trying to fight back against all this. Scorsese came out against just Marvel films in general, saying that they're circus and destroying cinema. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think some of the Marvel films are great and as cinematic as anything else. So, you know, that's a whole nother question, like what is cinema? But streaming has certainly brought up all these arguments again. The other problem is, of course, Disney owns everything. So, and Disney Plus is now their main business. So they're going to dictate a lot of what happens. So like everything else, it's just like one company that runs everything, as you can tell from other things. And yeah, it kind of goes against the whole idea of sort of free market. Anyway, that's a bit too heavy for this. Now Terry's problem is with streaming is not as much as the fact that certain films are made for the cinema. I get that, that's fine, and I agree with that. But you know, needs must and all that, financially, if it's cheaper to be at home streaming and stuff, sometimes, you know, you can't always afford the cinema. It can be expensive to go to cinema, so I get that. What my problem then is with the money for streaming. Every single channel wants $7.99 every month. Netflix $7.99, Disney Plus $7.99, Amazon Prime $7.99. Every matey wants $7.99. $7.99, mate. And now if you get all of them, because there's so many of them, right, you'll have all these $7.99s going out every month, right? And that adds up to a lot. I mean, do you know what I mean? That could easily go to £100 a month if you had the main ones. It used to be you had Sky or Virgin package, like you had your cable package, and that come with the movie channels, and that'd be your way of getting all the latest TV movies and stuff shortly after it's come out of the cinema, if you weren't going to buy the DVD or whatever, right? They were the old days, all right? I know I'm old. Anyway, that's gone now, really, because now it's pointless having the cable subscription or whatever. You're better off having all the streaming subscriptions, right? Netflix dominates, obviously, but Disney Plus, all the rest of them, they're all coming through, and you need all of them, as you'll miss out on all. They've all got their own exclusive films and TV shows, and you'll miss out on all of the ones if you don't have all the different ones. And there's all these subscriptions, and every mother and his grandkid has got to have another service and subscription, and it's all just paying out. So it's like, so you know, it's just getting too mental. Like, what are we to do? How are we to stream? What are we to watch? How do we do all this? Do you know what I mean? Hang on a minute, I'm just signing up for another streaming service. Oh, what's that? Paramount Plus. Oh yeah, with Discovery. Yeah, I've got to have that, haven't I? Because, you know, Paramount. Yeah. Oh, $8.99. Yeah. All right. Bit more than $7.99. Cheers. What do you need to watch stuff? Yeah. How will Hollywood cope with this? How's Hollywood responding to this? Because it might be that Hollywood's not the main source anymore of entertainment. If it's not got the cinema model, it's the streaming model. That Netflix has shifted the goalpost. Do we even need a Hollywood anymore? I mean, things are changing quite quickly at the moment. Obviously the pandemic and things have sped this up. So anyway, what are the ones worth having and not? And I ask you, is this the best model that we can come up with? Is this the best we can do? Now, in the UK, you've got the likes of the BBC iPlayer, which is great. That's a free streaming service. Yeah, you pay a TV license, but it's basically a free streaming service, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's got so much on it, but it can't compete at the level of Netflix and such. It doesn't have the resources. It does its level best. And that's been a great example of streaming being a successful service. You know, you don't miss programs anymore. You've got it all at your fingertips. It's great, you know. So there is a place for streaming, right? But you've got Paramount Plus, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, Hulu or Honolulu, whatever it's called, YouTube Premium, Discovery Plus, BritBox, AMC Plus. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's just anyone. There might be like an Al Jazeera Plus soon, or a bloody Russian news, whatever it is, Plus. I mean, it's just. It doesn't seem to matter what the channel is. There's a plus streaming service. I'm not against streaming, like I say. It's got its place, it has its uses, but it's becoming the dominant thing. It's compromising cinema, it's costing the consumers a lot of money. Yeah, we've got a lot of choice, but not financially. You're getting a few companies that are dominating everything. So what are we to, what's going on? What's Terry to do about it? I have trouble, right? You know, you used to go to, now, you know, I know this is me being old again, but you used to go to Blockbuster.
No. We are not Blockbuster. We are Blockbuster.
Bleaster?
Yes, it's better.
Much better.
Yeah. Go get your video DVD.
This is DVD. And this is what happens when you watch DVD.
Or you'd go to the cinema to see the big new release, yeah? Then after that, or after the cinema, if you didn't rent it at Blockbuster, you'd get it at, you'd buy it on VHS or DVD, yeah? That's what would happen, right? Then beyond that, you'd have the Sky movies that come through later on that, and then it'd take years to come on terrestrial TV, like be maybe 3-4 years later till ITV or BBC would show it, and that's with adverts and stuff. You know, people don't want to wait 3 years to watch the latest Bond or whatever. Then there was the old Blu-ray. Now there's the 4K Ultra HD they're trying to push as discs now, so they still want us to buy the discs, right? You can't go to Blockbuster anymore. What came as a result of that was Netflix and Chill Effect, which has now obviously become dominant streaming. And of course, another thing that Hollywood's really worried about is the rise of the Chinese market, which I don't really know why. It's just another country making their own films, like, you know, whatever. Any films is good, but like, they reckon that's going to upset their business model as well. So all about money, of course, but money isn't what matters in all of this. You know, we want creativity, the best opportunities for the talent, whether it be directors, actors, writers, whoever, coming together to make the best possible films, have the sort of studios and budgets and stuff to do it, right? And if streaming is compromising all that and changing it all for the worse, not the better, now this is where you could argue the toss. You know, what's going on and what can be done about it? What's the future going to look like? What's going on? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it all. It's all a bit of a mess. So anyway, this is Terry Says, and yeah, see you later. You're streaming this, aren't you? So yeah.